Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to some more Heritage Minutes. Now obviously we just keep checking them out, I just love them. They're, like I always say, they're minute movies, and we're starting out with Joseph Casavant, I think.
A successful blacksmith giving all this up?
When you want to study.
Wow.
Can you really do it? You're studying with Father Ducharme, and you're still a blacksmith. This, of course, is not a rich parish. I can't pay you that much.
Well, we'll work it out.
Oh, it's Timber.
I think we should...
Father, it's ready. I call it the Marching Thunder.
Wow.
Over time, Casavant's sons would take up the craft of their father, their organs in demand from Montreal to Paris, from Cairo to Tokyo.
Damn.
Joseph Casavant, one of Canada's first entrepreneurs.
Oh, well, okay then, that makes perfect sense. I had actually thought that I'd heard the name before, and I didn't know if that was just because I thought it was a common name, but I was fairly sure that it was a French name in terms of the T wasn't pronounced like an English T. But no, I never knew that it started with organs and things, and so what do they say, the sons picked it up?
Casavant's sons would take up the craft of their father.
Yeah, over time the sons took up the craft of their father, and so no, that's incredible. To kind of be, I guess they called him one of the first entrepreneurs, but I don't know, were organs not really a thing? I mean, did they have pianos? I don't know, when was this, 1830 something, 1834. So no, I guess that is actually quite a long while ago. For some reason I was thinking it wasn't that long ago, and I was going, oh, surely they would have had something, but probably not. Like, organs are such complicated things with so many pipes and chimes, and like if you go to the massive ones that just kind of cover everything, you can get cowbells and air horns and so many different components in them. I can only assume that this one right here probably wouldn't have been one that included all those, and it's developed over the years just to include everything, but that's incredible. And I just love the fact that he was a blacksmith. I mean, it certainly makes sense how you were needed to have some kind of metalworking ability to be able to create these perfect cylindrical pipes in a way, in such a range of sizes, and being able to get the flute and all those kind of things. Like, it's incredibly masterful in terms of metalwork, but then to also turn to timber to craft the entire rest of it and all the pedals, and I don't know, is there wires and things as well? I don't really know what goes into making an organ besides a lot of pieces, and so I kind of want to listen to it again. This bit where he talks to the father, I can only assume, or I don't know who the guy would be, this guy right here, but this interview or whatever it is, I want to listen to it again now that I know the context.
Can you really do it? You're studying with Father Ducharme, and you're still a blacksmith.
Right.
This, of
Oh, okay, so he's studying to be something, or he's studying timber, or what is he studying? I'm not too sure, but then he's also a blacksmith, and he's also trying to become an entrepreneur or just make organs and things as well. That certainly means that he would have been very, very busy, but no, you gotta commend him for his effort to be able to just go from just being a general blacksmith, which is going to be kind of a nothing trade, a common trade, to being one of the largest producers or entrepreneurs in Canada in terms of organs especially. Like, he would have made so much money, and good on him for just chasing what he thought was a good idea, and even just end up being someone that, even though I have no idea about names and pianos and things like that, I went, hang on a second, I think I've heard that name before. But anyway, moving on to our second one, we have Vancouver Asahi.
We were born in Canada.
1941.
We spoke English. On the streets, we weren't welcome. But on the field, we were the Asahi. Vancouver's champions. Everyone cheered for us. Our people had a voice. Then Canada declared war on Japan. They took us from our homes, called us enemies, forced us into camps. But we brought the game with us. Baseball helped get us through the internment.
The Vancouver Asahi were among the 22,000 Japanese Canadians interned during the Second World War. The team never played another game.
Oh, well, I just have to take it back to this guy because that is an incredible story. I had no idea where that was going to be going. Vancouver Asahi, it could be anything really, knowing Heritage Minutes, but no, that's what an incredible story. I mean, it actually kind of helps answer a few questions I've had about baseball because I know that it is quite a big sport in Japan, and so I've gone, how did that ever kind of come about? And I don't know if this is the exact reason or anything like that, but at least I can understand some kind of a link there, because as they say at the start here, these people were born and raised in Canada. They spoke English, like they were Canadian through and through, and fine as far as everyone should be concerned, but then to still have things like this, you know, you're just going, oh, okay, I'm just really not accepted here. So then to just be placed under, I don't even know what to call it, but they were sent into concentration camps, or maybe not concentration camps, maybe just camps. I don't know exactly what the right wording is surrounding that, but the fact that they were taken from their homes and they're just put in the middle of nowhere.
Enemies.
What do they say?
Us into camps.
Yeah, forced us into camps. But look at that. I mean, to be honest, regardless of the entire situation, that's an incredible scenic background and backdrop there. By no means does that mean that I want to be in this situation whatsoever, but I'm just admiring Canada in terms of a landscape right now. But just the fact that these guys took the game with them, it was something that they just went, oh, I want to take this with me. It's been my livelihood. It's been that thing that is, I guess, kind of like they said at the start, you know, they were rejected on the streets, but accepted on the field or on the pitch. What is it? On the ring? No, I don't know what a baseball place is called. But either way, for these guys just to be able to hold on to that bit, and like I said, I just love this image at the end here. Really, it just makes the fact that the lady said at the end here that they never played another game just even more tragic, really. Like they were just going, they were on top of the game with people just cheering them on in the stands, and they all felt like they were part of the community, and then all of a sudden, just what a change of reality. It's like, God, you go from literally just being included, and then all of a sudden you're just extradited to a camp in the middle of nowhere, not because you've suddenly committed any crimes, not because you've done anything wrong, just because your heritage lies with the country that you're at war with. I mean, look, from a purely militaristic point of view, I can understand why they might want to do something like that in terms of managing spies and information and all those things, but from an actual kind of humanitarian point of view, it's just a tragic story. And so yeah, now I just want to know more about how the entire thing went down in terms of how were they reintroduced to the population and community after the war ended. And I guess in saying that, being a multicultural country, I wonder what all the different nationalities did. Like, did, I don't know, the Chinese or the Vietnamese, or I don't know, there are so many different people. Was it kind of just targeted with Japan because they were so involved against Canada in the war? So no, this has definitely just raised a lot of questions, but it also just was a kind of a, I wouldn't call it a feel-good story, but at least it answered a few questions about baseball in Japan for me. And I guess if you just kind of play it from around about this mark until about 10 seconds later, it's just a great story, you know? You just get to hear about these guys that were just playing baseball and were just loved, and then it kind of takes a little bit of a turn for the worst. Even if you did have a stud to the leg, oh, that would hurt. Man, look at this. I just want to watch this again. Oh, maybe he crashes into the base plate first, but oh, God, it just looks like stud straight to the knee. But either way, I just cannot get over this ending here. I just love that image. The fact that they've got the baseball bats there, a part of our heritage. Like I said, it's just a good story, a bad story, and just, I guess that's kind of history in a nutshell, isn't it? But anyway, moving on to our third one, we have responsible government.
Does your majesty really agree that your governor-general, the Queen's own viceroy in Canada, should be overruled by the elected members?
Yes, Lord Melbourne. We assure you we do agree.
You mean to say that Victoria of Great Britain would give up her royal power to some obscure politician from Montreal or Toronto?
Lord Melbourne, Monsieur Lafontaine and Mr. Baldwin are trying to bring harmony to the colony with this... What do they call it, Lord Melbourne?
Responsible government, ma'am.
Right.
Responsible government. Just so. Now, suppose we do not assent, Prime Minister.
Well, that could mean another rebellion in the Canadas.
Responsible government. Our Governor-General controlled by an elected assembly instead of by us. It's a Canadian idea.
Pity, ma'am.
Very well, Lord Melbourne. We think we know what we must do.
Damn, all right. Well, first of all, I just have to address the fact that I never knew that there was a, what was it, the governor, Lord Melbourne, and that's where I can only assume that Melbourne in Australia got its name from. But aside from that, it's certainly an interesting story. Like they said at the end, oh, it's a Canadian idea, but no, like you're trying to deal with just international politics, but also a monarchy at the same time, and so you're going, okay, how can we not have, what I think they called the Canadas before?
Could mean another rebellion in the Canadas.
Yeah, another rebellion in the Canadas, and so you try to balance just, I guess, the British Empire controlling half the world and also just not have the half the world attacking Britain and just rebelling against Great Britain and the crown and everything like that. So honestly, like I always say, to break down that entire concept and get it across in a video like this, just in a conversational sense in 1 minute is insane. I just have to applaud everyone that just is able to make these heritage minutes. It's honestly as though they write an entire 1 hour movie or 2 hour movie and then just storyboard it down and then just cut out everything until they only have 1 minute left. What is the absolute most important points, and we just put that in a 1 minute segment. because it's incredible. I mean, I must admit, I do feel like I am missing a little bit of context surrounding the entire thing about, is this, I guess, Canada gaining independence, but did it come from the monarchy? Or I don't really know. Is it that because they're asking for a responsible government to be implemented? That's the only real thing I can see this being about, but then I don't really get why you would focus it around Britain and not actually show it in a Canadian standpoint. Either way, it's a great video, like I said. I almost feel like there could just be kind of a sister, brother, partner, whatever you want to call a movie to this one, which actually just shows the Canadian perspective about them putting this entire bill, or I don't even know what you call it, forward to the British. So I actually think that I need to watch just a little bit of it again to try and understand what they said. They said a governor general controlled by a government or elected. I'll just watch it.
Responsible government. Our governor general controlled by an elected assembly instead of by us.
Yeah, so what did she say?
Our governor general controlled by an elected assembly instead of by us.
I guess that certainly makes sense, and I can only assume that's still what happens. I mean, I know Australia has a Governor General, and I can only assume Canada also has a Governor General, or maybe it's been abolished since, when was it, 1930 something, 1918, 1841, not 1841. But no, I can only assume that that meant originally they had a representative there that was, I guess, acting on behalf of the crown and everything, and so then they just went, hang on a second, we need to have some sort of independence here. You can still elect to have your individual here, but we just want to have a level of barricade, or I don't even know what you'd call it, but just a level of buffer zone between Great Britain and Canada, so we can actually just not have all these rebellions about people going, oh, I just don't want to be a part of this anymore. And so honestly, I feel as though my entire history and knowledge surrounding this is just not up to the task of understanding everything that's going on here, but overall I certainly feel as though I can attempt to grasp what's going on here, and I just still can't get it over the fact that they kind of positioned it from the British/Crown perspective, but still delivered it in a Canadian aspect as well. Like, it's just insane storyboarding and just insane storytelling. But anyway, now moving on to our fourth one, we have Agnes Macphail.
Your visit isn't really necessary.
I'll judge for myself.
I know you're an MP, Miss Macphail, but a woman has never...
I am not leaving till I do. How can such a society be called civilized? If those appalling conditions don't change, that prison will explode!
Perhaps our lone lady member is too fragile to know what is normal in a prison.
Is this normal?
Her courage would lead to the overhaul of the entire Canadian penal system.
Dang.
Agnes Macphail, Canada's first woman MP.
Wow. Well then, that is a hell of a powerful story. I don't really know if I want to take it back, but I just want to see this again. What the hell was going on here? When was this? No, it was the 1900s, 1935. That is honestly not that long ago. Kingston Penitentiary in 1935. And it seems as though they're treating people as though we're still in the medieval era. Like, it's only 90 years ago, 85 years ago. That's really, it's not like it's the 1200s or anything. And you can just see by this guy that he's just not really wanting anyone to be there, let alone if it's a woman. Like, he's trying to use that entire kind of excuse, I guess you'd call it, to just get her out of there, because he probably just enjoys the power trip he gets from just being able to torture people on a whim. So like I said, he just didn't want anyone there because he kind of knew what was going to happen, you know, even though at the end here they're going, oh yes, you wouldn't dare know, you wouldn't possibly understand what happens in a prison. And then all of a sudden she pulls out, I'd call it the belt, I don't really know what else it'd be called, just absolutely rakes it over the front of the desk, and everyone goes, ooh, hang on a second, this is definitely not normal. And then they go, hey, yeah, we probably should do something about this. I mean, I'd love to actually know how she got that, because I mean, I guess you're an MP, but really they let you just take it? I hardly assume they'd let you just take it. Yeah, this dude right here is just either, I guess at worst, lose his job, even though that's unlikely, but two, just lose his ability to just torture people. Like, what a tragedy that would be for a man on a power trip. So no, just good on her. Literally the first female MP ever. I mean, man, even that, I'd love to hear that story. How did she even just go about getting into that? Because honestly, that just sounds like torture in itself, just trying to weave your way as a woman into the entire parliament just in 1935. And so I guess if nothing else, it certainly just shows you how having a variety of people in parliament is definitely a good thing. You know, you get different views and perspectives of the entire situation, of the same situation. So then you just get people going, hang on a second, this just isn't right. And everyone goes, oh yeah, hang on a second, how have we not looked at this before? I guess we just never really considered it, but now you've actually brought it to our attention and you actually cared, and now we actually probably should change it. And so even though, like I said, there's a little bit of a horrific scene going on here, I would kind of love to know what you really saw, because this Heritage Minute isn't going to fully do it justice, I don't think. Because I feel as though if this is kind of just recounting what you saw in a, I guess in a way, PG sense, you know, you have to be government that is televising these things back in 1980s, I think it was, then I don't feel as though you're going to be actually showing just the disgraceful treatment of all these people. Like, it's honestly not for human eyes. And I mean, obviously she actually is looking through this tiny little peephole in here just going, whoa, that's a little bit too much right there. But I can only assume that those guys probably wouldn't have been covered in makeup and a little bit of, I don't know, bruising per se. They would have been a lot worse off than just that, and that's not a very good situation to be in for starters. So I guess there really isn't much else to say besides incredible story, incredible woman that just went after exactly what you want. Honestly, every second Heritage Minute is just about an incredible woman, you know. I mean, the names are going to escape me right now, but from the lead engineer of the plane to then the first medical practitioner to now her, like there are just so many incredible stories and incredible Heritage Minutes just surrounding these women, then man, let's just keep it going. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there, so thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to do the YouTube algorithmic things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, then make sure to check out just any of the other Heritage Minutes that I've looked at, or Canadian videos or international videos. Also, make sure to check out just all the original Heritage Minutes in the description down below, or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.